9:40, and in the weather center, we're monitoring the fact that the storm is gone. I'm going to scooch over. He's like Superman. He just jumped into the phone booth. He's getting his.
If I didn't get a piece of grease on my dress shirt, I wouldn't have the jacket on.
Yeah, I'm meteorologist Bob Max, and of course, this is Ryan Hanrahan, who's been here for now over 31 hours. You know, just rest your head right here, take a little nap.
I need my binky.
And blankie. As far as our weather goes, obviously this is a storm of historic proportions. You've heard it said many times, but rarely in a 2-month period, we would get hit by 2 storms that would produce widespread flooding and power outages to unbelievable snowfall amounts, and again, widespread power outages.
What's so amazing about the storm from a meteorological perspective, this just flows so much out of the water in terms of what you get, how you need to wrap your head around what happened yesterday, because it's just so rare. But the reports that we're getting from friends, family members who are emailing and calling, finally finding a cell phone signal, say that the damage in northern Connecticut, I mean, a lot of people watching are watching along the shoreline in southeastern Connecticut right now. The damage around Hartford, up toward the Massachusetts border, west toward the New York border is astounding. There are some streets have 10 or 15 trees just down on them. This is going to be a huge problem, and I'm afraid we're going to see damage in many towns that was worse than Irene, with the exception of what happened on the beaches with the coastal flooding. In terms of tree damage, it looks like this will be more significant than Irene, and CLMP has one heck of a job ahead of them.
If you had told me on Friday morning that you thought that tree damage would be worse this morning than it would be with Irene, I would have sent you home for a long winter's nap. I would have said, come on. I said, no. But we looked at it, we were talking about a foot of snow. We knew the consistency of the snow would be heavy and wet. And the fact that this has now become real, that, you talk about 10, let's say there's 10 trees down on your street. Well, guess what? There's 5 to 10 on that street, and that road, and they're trying to bring everything back to any semblance of normalcy is going to take 6 to probably 14 days.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it looks like CLMP is already saying this is a worst-case scenario, which I sort of take exception with, because a major hurricane would be. I mean, we'd be talking about months and not days here for power restoration. But in terms of a winter storm, this is as bad as it gets. Just looking at some of the pictures, it looks like a couple years ago there was a huge ice storm up in Worcester. You may remember, if you have family members in central Massachusetts or friends up there, they had a awful ice storm in December of '08. And going up there to cover that storm, the pictures that we're seeing now rival that, and it took them a long time to recover. And you can still see some of the damage left behind from that storm. And look at these pictures we're getting in of the trees that literally were toppled and splintered by the heavy weight of the snow that clung to pretty much everything. You know what, actually, Bob, what this reminded me of? April 1st, 1997. This is probably the wettest snow I've seen since that storm.
That storm was mostly centered in the Stores area, up into Tolland, wasn't it? And up into parts of central Massachusetts. And I think that's the eye-popping thing about this storm, is that it's not a part of a county. It's not just in the higher elevations. It is everybody away from about, let's say, 5 to 10 miles from Long Island Sound north. And it includes central and western Massachusetts. It includes eastern New York, all the way back into the Poconos. An epic October snow with over 1.7 million customers in New England, probably tack on another 500,000 or more.
New Jersey.
So we're talking about 3 to 3.5 million people starting this Sunday without power, and that's usually where we get our help from, is some of these areas around us, and it's going to be hard to find help.
That's right. We know how much the utility crews rely on mutual aid to try to get, look at that picture there, rely on mutual aid to get help in after these storms, but they're going to be fighting, not fighting, but probably trying to get aid from western New York, western Pennsylvania, Ohio, all that kind of stuff, over here into Connecticut to try to fix this damage.
People from the Tennessee Valley, the Ohio Valley, Canada, they're going to come to help the entire region, because we are not alone with this, the entire region, to try to get the power grid fixed up.
Are you ready for a week or more?
A lot of patience, folks. So let's get into some meteorology now. We're going to talk about the storm departing, and Ryan's got some great pictures. He's going to show you more pictures. You just saw a slideshow of a couple dozen. It's amazing, the digital age, how people can step out, take a picture, send it immediately to us, and we try to pass them along to you, so you get a feeling for the scope of this storm. This from Summers of I would say, a 60 to 70 foot tree down and just missing a home in Summers. So thank you for kind of going through the storm with us. There goes the storm out to sea. Behind it, we'll have wind and fair conditions. And you say, Bob, what's up with all the reporting stations? Well, if you don't have power, you can't transmit weather information to us. So you can see at the stations that do have power, we're in the mid to upper 30s, and for high temperatures today in the lower to middle 40s. We'll get some melting, we're already seeing that. Not only will the air temperature move up into the 40s, but that direct October sunshine will go to work on the snow too. We're already seeing that happen. You see a lot of melting today. You're also going to see trees and shrubs rebounding quickly as the elasticity of the tree, the snow starts to run off, and the limbs come flashing back and snapping back in some cases. So we're not done with the potential of these for tree damage and power outages because of this quick rebound and snapping of the trees. Winds sustained 21 miles per hour, dropping sustained about 15 miles per hour through the interior, gusting 25 to 30 in some cases. So you couple the wind with the melting snow, and there's still potential for tree damage. So storm over, cold temperatures, really cold tonight, and that's really our biggest concern are the power outages. I mean, we can deal without television and computers and that sort of thing, but it's without heat is a big issue. Wood stoves and fireplaces, if you have your winter supply of wood ready,